Hey guys, it's Bro You Whack, and yesterday Sony officially unveiled their PlayStation 5, and I absolutely love live streams like these where everybody's watching because you know the memes are gonna be top quality, which I just gotta get this out of the way. Boom.
Look at the top of his head.
It looks like a Wi-Fi modem, bruh. Hey, but the Xbox One X do be looking like a fridge though, so. Yo, but yesterday I was tweeting about the PlayStation 5 and clowning on how it looks, and there were some people in my mentions calling me an Xbox and Microsoft fanboy. Guys, do you not know that I hate both of these consoles equally? Whenever somebody asks me if I prefer PlayStation or Xbox, I always tell them I prefer Nintendo Switch, because I hate both consoles equally. I hate the PlayStation 4 because it sounds like a fighter jet, and you also have to pay for PlayStation Plus, where beforehand on PlayStation 3 you can get online for free. I hate the Xbox One because there are no exclusives, it's an overall trash looking console, and the user interface is terrible. And the Nintendo Switch has great games, it's portable, and it has cute console designs. Oh, then why don't you play Overwatch on your Switch? Well, that's also a problem, is that you don't have great graphics. But bruh, come on, you know you're gonna be playing your consoles on your 27-inch monitor. Don't be talking about no graphics to me. But speaking of Overwatch, I did want to talk about Overwatch and Overwatch 2 in relation to the PlayStation 5. I'm not really a channel that goes beyond the Overwatch realm, even though I am excited for the PlayStation 5. Like don't get me wrong, okay? I'm clowning on the PlayStation 5, but I'm excited for it. Like, people can clown, and people can still be hyped for a console. Like, did you see that new Spider-Man game, though? Oh, it's so sexy. But during the live stream, Sony didn't talk about anything in relation of Overwatch and Overwatch 2 being on the PlayStation 5. And it really is no surprise, because the only non-PlayStation game that they really did talk about was GTA 5. Which I gotta say, by the way, that's gotta be the biggest cock tease. Put the Rockstar logo at the front of the live stream, and it be the first thing people see, and then just announce GTA 5 is gonna be on the PlayStation 5. Like, bruh. We want GTA 6. It was on last generations of consoles, and now it's on the next generation. I'm sorry, I just surprisingly like more games than just Overwatch, but Overwatch is my main game and my main love right now, so how does this all relate back to the PlayStation 5? Well, it might come to you as a surprise, but while people are gonna be buying a PlayStation 5 for the exclusives, something that can definitely drive more incentive to get a PlayStation 5 is to know that your favorite video game that is not just on the PlayStation 5 is also playable, like Rainbow Six Siege, like Fortnite, like Call of Duty Warzone and Modern Warfare, or in my case, Overwatch. So here I am, a potential PlayStation 5 customer where I'm excited for the Spider-Man game on the PlayStation 5, but maybe I'm not so excited to be spending $600 to $700 to get the PlayStation 5 to just play a Spider-Man game. But if I know I can play the Spider-Man game and also Overwatch or Overwatch 2 on it, then I'm more incentivized to buy the PlayStation 5, which is why it's an important thing to not just have exclusives, but in my case, potentially have Overwatch or Overwatch 2 on the PlayStation 5. But why do I seem so confident that Overwatch or Overwatch 2 is going to be on the PlayStation 5, let alone possibly when the PlayStation 5 releases this year? Well, here's my very long, drawn-out theory. Even before the PlayStation 5 was officially unveiled, a couple of days ago, there were some listings on websites like GameStop, Zing, and also game.co.uk where you were able to pre-order Overwatch 2 for 70.77 euros, which translated to United States dollar, that's about 80 bucks or so. Now, before I even go deeper into the legitimacy of this post, because unlike some people, whenever they hear news about Overwatch 2, they believe everything that they read on the internet. So before you go and tell your friends, hey, Overwatch 2 is gonna cost $80 or 70 euros, understand that one, this post could be fake. Like, I didn't go to this website and find anything with Overwatch 2, probably because it was either taken down and I'm only going off of screenshots that I've seen on the internet. The second thing that you should understand is that even if this was a real listing, it could just be a placeholder for the price, because while it doesn't happen a lot, the prices of games right before they launch could always change because of marketing purposes. Maybe they don't see enough people pre-ordering, so maybe if they lower it by $10, then they can get more pre-orders. You know, it's not set in stone to be $80 if the post is real. But the third thing that I think is so important and so crucial to understand, because there are still some people that are confused on what Overwatch 2 is videos, but you need to understand that Overwatch 2 is a glorified expansion that is going to be mainly focused around lore and story. Overwatch 2 is not a traditional sequel. It's not going to be a separate game because it's going to have everything that Overwatch 1 has right now. All the skins, all the maps, all the heroes, everything. Now, yes, you still will have to pay for skins like you do now in Overwatch 1, but you will probably have the same opportunities to get the skins in Overwatch 2 like you would in Overwatch 1. You won't have to pay for the multiplayer stuff in Overwatch 2 if you already have Overwatch 1. What you're more than likely gonna have to pay for is the story portion, is the campaign that comes with Overwatch 2. And some people will be upset and confused on why they have to pay for the story portion for Overwatch 2, not understanding that it costs millions upon millions of dollars to make a story mode for any kind of video game, but that's kind of the reality of things. Like, if you want something, usually you have to pay for it. And in this case, if you want a story mode for Overwatch 2, well, you're more likely gonna have to pay for it. And while I don't want to spend hours talking about the price of Overwatch 2, it is just something that I want to bring up because, well, I am bringing up these listing prices that's saying 70 euros, but then one's saying 54 pounds, which translates differently. So there's some confusion there. What I really wanted to focus on is the possible release date of Overwatch even being this year, and now in conjunction with the PlayStation 5 releasing later on this year, this holiday season. This is how it comes full circle and why I spent a little bit of time talking about the PlayStation 5, because you have to understand that the only reason why people even care about the PlayStation 5, let alone buy the PlayStation 5, is if it has good games to play on. And so far, there are some good exclusives. I will admit that Spider-Man game, but Sony can't just stop there when it comes to the exclusives, even though, ironically, that is the only reason why you would buy a PlayStation 5 are the exclusives. To give players even more reasons to buy a PlayStation 5, they gotta look to third-party titles. Take GTA 5 for an example, probably the biggest game there across all platforms, and there we go. They did exactly what I just said before I even brought it up. They had GTA 5 be the first game that they talk about. But other than those exclusives, what do you think is gonna drive hype for players to get a PlayStation 5? Knowing that they can play other big title games like Fortnite Chapter 2, Rainbow Six Siege, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, or Call of Duty Warzone, and then that same conversation, Overwatch 2. Well, it's a new game. The multiplayer side is not a new game, but it's still kind of a new game that can release alongside the PlayStation 5. While players admittedly are going to buy the PlayStation 5 mainly for the exclusives like Ratchet and Clank, like that Spider-Man game, and I keep bringing it up because I just really want to play that Spider-Man game, something that can make it even more appealing is knowing that I can play all my favorite games on that console too, because the PlayStation 4 sounds like a freaking fighter jet and the Xbox One is total garbage. So that's how they can definitely win me over, is if they start to announce these other third-party games like Overwatch 2 so that I'm more incentivized to buy the PlayStation 5 and not the Xbox Series X, even though I'm going to buy both consoles, even though I'm probably going to hate both of them still. But that's how they can win me over as a broke boy, knowing that my favorite game, Overwatch, is going to be playable on the PlayStation 5. But luckily in the case of Overwatch, there is a reason to release alongside the PlayStation 5. Even though it's not a traditional new game, there are new expansions that you can only get in Overwatch 2. So it is a new game, but it also kind of is. It's a newer game compared to Fortnite Chapter 2 or Rainbow Six Siege. You know, those other games don't have a new expansion, or nothing that I'm aware of, that could release alongside the PlayStation 5. But Overwatch does, in the form of Overwatch 2. So I can see happening this holiday season, the PlayStation 5 is going to release maybe in October, that's just a guess, with their exclusives, their day one games like the Spider-Man game, Ratchet and Clank, because that's where they make the most money, but slowly but surely, they're going to trickle in the other third-party games that are across all platforms, like GTA 5, and like Rainbow Six Siege, and like Fortnite. But then, come November, after BlizzCon, Blizzard is going to come out onto the stage, and they're going to announce that Overwatch 2 is going to be coming on the current generations of consoles, on the Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PlayStation 4. But along with the old gen, the new generations of consoles, the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, are also going to have Overwatch 2 so that nobody is left behind. The only problem with that is that BlizzCon is not happening this year. which sucks. But Online Blizzcon is still happening. And just like the PlayStation 5 reveal, they can easily do that with Overwatch 2. And I think that's why Blizzard hasn't announced the release date. One, because they want to announce it at their own press conference, at their own convention, BlizzCon, and they were also waiting for Sony and Microsoft to announce their release date for their respective consoles, the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, or at least announce the consoles themselves. Because in my head, it doesn't make sense to release a big game like Overwatch 2 and not include it on the next generation of consoles, but it also doesn't make sense to not release it alongside the next generations of consoles, because when you go and pick up the consoles themselves, where you want some games with it, yeah, the exclusives, but you know Overwatch is a good game, and if you see that there is a second game, which we all know it's not a new game, but it kind of is a new game, for people that are picking up a new console like that, they're going to want to pick up Overwatch 2 because they had a lot of fun with Overwatch 1, or they've heard good things about Overwatch 1. And with these listings on the GameStop website and the Game.co website where you're able to pre-order Overwatch 2, where it says it's going to be releasing later on this year, now that the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X is geared up to release later on this year also, it really does make sense for a big game like Overwatch 2 to either A, be a launch title with the PlayStation 5, or at least come out relatively soon, close to the launch date of the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, because it is a big game, so why wouldn't you release it alongside a big console? I don't really see why Blizzard would take over a year and a half to 2 years when they announced Overwatch 2 last year, when they have a golden opportunity to release it alongside the consoles. And that's just my thoughts, but let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the PlayStation 5 and it possibly having Overwatch 2. Like, we know it is, but is it going to be having it this year, which we can then guess that Overwatch 2 is going to be releasing later on this year? Just let me know. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. More Overwatch videos to come, and bye.